Thank you, Keith, and thank you to the Culpeper VFW and all the other organizations that had a hand in organizing this and inviting me to speak today on this special day. I would also like to express my gratitude to Director Jason Hogan and his 8 staff members that care for over 11,000 souls that have found this as their final resting place. My father was laid to rest in a veterans cemetery very similar to this one outside of Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. I think I speak for all families that live far away from their hero's gravesite on days like today when I say it means so much to know that their veterans lie forever in a place of honor such as this. I would also like to thank all veterans in the audience today. I know that every day is Memorial Day for you, as you carry a list of on your hearts and minds of the brothers you lost in battle. To all the Gold Star families in attendance today, the rest of us gather beside you to share in your loss and your remembrance. Why is this national cemetery here in this very spot? During the Civil War, the Union capital of Washington, D.C., and Richmond, the capital of the Confederacy, lay just 100 miles apart. Culpeper was located halfway between the two cities, which made it a strategically important area for both sides. This dynamic landed many battles in the vicinity of where we stand today, so much fighting that you can almost still smell the powder burning and see the smoke rising. The nearby battles of Cedar Run Mountain and Chancellorsville were so severe that the only thing to do was bury the dead in makeshift graves where they fell. A few years after the war in 1867, a reburial program was initiated, and Edward B. Hill, the brother of Confederate General A.P. Hill, donated 6 acres to establish Culpeper National Cemetery and give the fallen a dignified place to rest. Over 100 years later, during the Vietnam War, new burials had to be halted due to lack of space until the Culpeper VFW Post 2524 donated another 10.5 acres so burials could resume. It seems the Culpeper VFW have a very long history of doing what's needed for our veterans. Since then, men and women have answered the call to serve, and many gave their life in that service. They fell across several continents during World War I and World War II. They fell in the bitter cold of the Korean War. They fell in the jungles of Vietnam, twice in the desert sands of Iraq, and also in the mountains of Afghanistan. Many made the ultimate sacrifice in smaller, lesser known, although not lesser important skirmishes and operations. I would also encourage everyone to remember the ones that survived the battles, but not the war. These are the countless that we lost later, after the fighting, due to depression, post-traumatic stress, suicide, substance abuse, and Agent Orange exposure. I say countless because our nation literally has not counted them, but their families and their loved ones do. They did not receive the support and treatment they deserved for their invisible wounds, and the least we can do is recognize and honor them now. On this day that our nation has set aside to honor and remember their sacrifice, I ponder an important question. What would they tell us if we could hear them, hear their voices from beyond these markers that surround us? To the veterans in the audience today, I believe they would remind each of you to take care of your fellow veterans. This is what you were trained to do in battle, and you must continue this after your time in service. There are so many reasons why some veterans do well after battle, and some are never the same again. Where you started in life, the amount of action you were subjected to, the support you had or did not have when you came home, all matter during your readjustment period. Those that fared better are in a very powerful position to make a difference. There is a special bond between veterans that cannot be broken, and you will be able to reach a fellow veteran in need in ways that no one else can. Second, I believe they would tell families and communities to also care for and honor our veterans as we are here today. There are 19 million veterans in America, and we cannot rely on the VA or the government to meet every need. So what can you do? I offer a few suggestions. Thank you for your service could be changed to tell me about your service. Never forget could mean not forgetting to ask an older vet if they need anything from the store or a ride to church. Welcome home could mean helping a veteran fix a few things around their actual home. The VA absolutely needs to continue to improve their services, but throughout history, it was always the wives, the children, the friends, the pastors, and others that truly helped and loved our veterans until they were whole again. Lastly, and most importantly, I believe they would implore us to not let their sacrifice be in vain. They died upholding basic American principles of freedom and democracy. They died defending those who could not defend themselves. The moment we, the people, allow the chipping away of those freedoms and principles, we risk devaluing their service and their sacrifice. I know our nation faces problems at levels we have not seen in decades, but our nation has used the democratic process that these service members died for to face and solve difficult, complex problems in the past. The chaos and division we have experienced over the last few years is not truly completely new. As a nation, we abolished slavery, gave women the right to vote, passed the Civil Rights Act, passed the Social Security Act. We arose from the ashes of September 11th to a more secure and united America. I ask, where is that compromise and problem solving today? We must come together to solve our most pressing problems. We must turn off media that seeks to divide us and sow the seeds of division. We must remind our elected officials that they work for us. And that we will not let down those that died for democracy and our freedoms. You all have one afternoon left of this beautiful long weekend. My hope is you will spend at least some of it in quiet reflection on what you think the heroes that lie here and in cemeteries across our great lands would want from you in return for their ultimate sacrifice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Molly. Wonderful job.